Hi everyone. So lately there has been going on a lot of discussion about the Prey on the Weak vampiric power. So I believe Moxie sparked that discussion in the community with his video a few days ago, talking about that Prey on the Weak is not really doing what it says. So that prompted a lot of people to also come to me to ask for, if that information is correct and for confirmation and what I think. And I guess I need to chime in here as well a little bit. So basically, this is one of the most important or most powerful vampiric effects of the season, because first of all, it can make enemies vulnerable very easily on many builds that otherwise can't, giving you this 20% extra damage multiplier from vulnerable. And then on top of that, you get another 16% damage multiplier, also with thought at least. This X indicating that this is a multiplier, meaning this is a really powerful effect. However, this X is actually a plus, so it means it's just additive damage, and this means that it's effectively worthless in the end game, because most builds stack upwards of like 1000% in the additive category, in some cases even way beyond that if we're talking about overpower builds, for example. So this 60% basically just doesn't have any relevance at all. We're talking about like a 1, maybe in a good scenario 2% damage increase. So it's not really as powerful as we thought. And all of my tests also confirm the same thing. I've done this like a few weeks ago already, actually, and then I figured I would like talk about that, and I kind of just got sidetracked with other videos. And well, now it's actually a big topic. So here we are again. And I went back into the target dummy area as well to try this out, also with like various ways of applying vulnerable. So previously I did some tests using the vampiric powers, for example, Metamorphosis or Accursed Touch, to apply the Prey on the Weak with the vampiric curse to the target, and I also did some other tests with Puncture, applying a natural vulnerable to the target. And I also repeated the same test outside of the target dummy area to make sure it doesn't have anything to do with some target dummy bugs, because at least earlier in the season we had some issues there with certain effects not working properly, corpses not spawning, etc. So there is still a bit of mystery and a bit of like, does everything work properly in this area? So I actually went and smacked bears again, as we usually did when we did any kind of testing. But yeah, basically my numbers here confirmed that it is an additive multiplier, or like an additive effect basically. Like it's not a multiplier. So instead it just gives you like, 16% plus damage and not multiplicative. So that's kind of a sad story, to be honest. Like I tried various combinations of, for example, in like, using no power, no vampiric curse at all, and then using Accursed Touch, and then using Metamorphosis, and so on. And basically anything I did always yielded the same result. I always saw like the same roughly 20% damage increase that you get from just making targets vulnerable. And then I just couldn't really change it to like be more than that. However, apparently there are some people that have tested this and have found this to be a multiplicative damage increase that pretty much matches exactly the 16% expected increase in damage. And I don't really know where that's coming from. It might have to do with certain skills or certain legendary aspects or even certain classes. But in the grand scheme of things, I think we can relatively safely say that this is mostly not giving what it says. So I would kind of like not necessarily advise to not use this power, but instead only if you really need that vulnerable effect. So in my case, for example, I reevaluated all my rogue builds, and well, especially going into Path of Exile, a lot of rogue builds absolutely rely on vulnerable because they go into poisons, and if you go into poisons, you have the corruption aspect, and if you don't have vulnerable in a target, you deal 0 damage. So vulnerable is like a required state for the enemy as a rogue right now, and in that case, I still use Prey on the Weak on basically every single rogue build. Like Rain of Arrows needs this, Twisty Blades needs this, Penshot needs this. Basically everything with poisons, basically everything going into Upper 12 Seer needs vulnerable, and this is still one of the best ways to apply vulnerable, at least for rogues, and I think probably even more so for many other builds and other classes, because rogues have some of the easiest access to vulnerable right now with Puncture, with Concealment, with Shadow Imbuement. And even like that, I still enjoy having Prey on the Weak simply for the vulnerable effect. So in that case, I think it's still a power worth using simply for the vulnerable. And in many other cases, I believe that will be in the same conclusion. So this is kind of like what I found. I think it's still a good effect and still worth having. That being said though, I just wanted to draw some more attention to this. So I don't really expect this is going to get fixed. I don't really believe that we're really going to see like any kind of like balancing and bug fixing at all basically, but who knows, we might be surprised with the Path of Exile patch. Maybe Blizzard is actually aware of this already. I mean, this was bug reported like weeks ago basically at this point. And maybe they're gonna buff this, maybe not, so we'll see. Or they're just gonna like change the tooltip a little bit to a plus, who knows. But in any case, you should notice, and if you thought that this gives you a damage multiplier, then you were wrong. And I have not really seen like believable evidence of something else. However, I did hear stories from people that believe this is a multiplier based on their own testing, but I can't really confirm that. So this is it for this video already. Want to get this out here. I wish you good luck in the Path of Exile. Stay tuned for a lot of guides coming up, and I'll see you guys next time.